Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker. Thanks for joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. Always glad to have on, especially this time of year, the people that are out making a difference. And we're going to talk about some of the things that have taken place behind the scenes that you wouldn't necessarily know about the campaign to really take care of kids this time of year. We welcome into the program, back to the program, Sheriff Tim Saunier. Thanks for being here, Tim.
Thank you, Keith.
We appreciate it. Sitting next to him, and he'll tell you, the one who does most of the work, Tracy Gotro, one of the coordinators with Toys for Tots. Tracy, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Keith.
All right. So, Tim, this is a process. This is not something that just happens right now. This is not just something that happens at the end of the year. You guys are working for the kids and for the people of this parish all the time.
We start our event, a campaign, usually about a month or so before Thanksgiving, right around Halloween. We start our campaign. We have a very large group of volunteers, and this campaign we get out, we promote it. But more importantly, I mean, there's a lot of retail stores, there's a lot of community businesses that we put in boxes out. We're doing a lot and promoting the event from Trap. I mean, I don't want to start naming, but there's so many businesses out there that makes us successful.
Right.
And more importantly is our volunteers that's behind the scenes, and we usually call them elves. And we call them elves, but I mean, if you want to see how the North Pole works, when you come into our shop of what we're collecting, how we're sorting, how we're getting it prepared for distribution.
Yeah.
And we've had with Hurricane Ida, we had we got hit pretty well. But I can tell you there's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of locals that just wanted to come out and help, and even outside our parish, because they knew the devastation. But they had one goal, like we have one goal, is to make sure a child has a Christmas present to open on Christmas morning.
Yeah, and that's been the thing with Toys for Tots for many, many years. How long have you been involved with Toys
Since
for Tots?
I retired from the Marine Corps 2006, and as you know, Mr. Linwood Liner,
Right?
he about 2007, I helped him a little bit the year I retired because I've come in towards the back end of it.
Right.
And in 2007, he came to my office. He says, "Hey, you remember when you said if I need any help?" He said,
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "I want you to help me, and eventually you're going to take this thing over."
You got voluntold.
Well, yeah, but me and Mr. Linwood, look, I have to give props. That man was doing this since 1960.
Yep.
And he built it.
Yep.
And we had some new eyes, and we grew it. And but you know, he had a foundation, and he had a deep passion for it. But when getting around him and what he was able to do, it just motivated me. And I said, you know what, this is the right thing. And every year during that time frame, I said, you know what, it wasn't about Christmas morning. It was about the work we were able to do. We become family, and all our volunteers, we become family. And we built something that every year these guys tirelessly, our volunteers tirelessly work, and our local community just pulls together to make this successful every year.
Yeah, and so, Tracy, from that standpoint, let's talk a little bit about what it's like to coordinate those things, your joy for doing that and working with these awesome volunteers.
So the way that I came into this was last year. I was helping Top, Mr. Linwood, get some toys together, and we were separating everything at our building. And he looks at me and he says, "You know this is my last year." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Well, I already know who's taking my place." I said, "You do?" I'm looking at her.
So
Okay.
you got voluntold.
Okay.
So I think we have a
got
theme. I've
voluntold
got a
too.
theme here with Mr.
Yeah.
Linwood.
So, you know, it just, it's definitely about teamwork, and, you know, that's where your foundation is at, and you're only as good as what your team players are, and it's what
Right.
you put forth for them. And we have an amazing group of workers, our elves. I've been dubbed Mama Elf.
Okay.
So,
All right. Very
yeah,
good.
We have a great group of men and women that come out there, and we even have children that have helped us. We've had some kids from Vanderbilt that came and did some service hours with us this year.
Wow.
So it's been nice to have all generations come together to put forth the effort for the children of our community.
And it's so very interesting. You know, one of the hardest hit schools, certainly in that grouping, Vanderbilt, as they were displaced, right?
Correct.
You know, they're platooning over at another school, and they're thinking about coming to help Toys for Tots.
Right.
They're coming to help, and that talks about the groundwork. You know, like y'all talked about, since 2006, being involved. Mr. Linwood, what he's done for the number of years since 1960 about doing that, and really building a foundation of giving back. It makes other people want to do that, right? And so you don't have to ask for volunteers. You got volunteers who just really want to do it. And it's really neat and really cool because it's a family thing. I bet there are a number of complete families that come and help, right?
Correct.
And all the volunteers, we've become family.
Yes.
And
Okay.
over the years, we've all become family. And then afterwards, like, we really miss doing that. And I'm like, they're motivated to get back and do it because, it's gatherings. We cook. We work at night. We get together. It's like a little mini family reunion. It's like the family getting together. But everybody's smiling, laughing, having a good time, sorting toys.
Yeah.
And just because they know, what that service, what they're doing. And it makes people feel good. Serving a cause higher than themselves. I say it a lot, but this is what this is about.
It's really unique that you use those words, Tim. As we talked about families, whole families who come together to come and help, and then they become part of that family who's dedicated to help. It's just really cool, because it's like you said, it's something bigger than themselves, and it's something in a way to give back. And we want to talk a little bit about how special it is. When we come back from break, we'll talk a little bit how special this year is and what y'all have been able to do as this whole community gets to do something pretty special. And we're looking forward to that. But you were saying that Linwood and how important he was for the foundation. Used to do this out of his shed, right?
Yes, sir. And he's grown. We were working out of a shed. It grew, and we rented a house next door to him. When his neighbor was vacating the house to do some work before he was going to rent it or sell it.
Right.
And he ended up renting it to us for a couple of months so we can do our operation there, and then we progressed to the Marine Corps League building, and it's grown, and it's like getting to the point where we're going to need more space
It's just
to operate.
It's such a good idea. Toys for Tots is such a wonderful concept, but you guys have so much joy within the family of people that are with Toys for Tots that y'all really get to experience the holiday season in a different way than a lot of people. How do you feel about it, knowing Christmas morning what you've done?
Well, it's we don't always all of our volunteers, we don't always get to see the child, but we know in our heart our efforts, all of the volunteers' efforts, they made a difference.
Yeah.
And it's like when somebody writes a check and they said, okay, we want to contribute to Toys for Tots, or somebody drops a toy off in one of our boxes.
Right.
And we always tell them, it's like, look, Christmas morning you made a difference in a child's life. So one of the children in our parish is going to receive that toy on Christmas morning, and we don't always get to see it, but it's not about seeing it. It's about a cause
Right.
that we're passionate about to make sure we reach every child, as many children as we can in the parish.
Right. And so Tracy, got to be the same with you.
Oh, absolutely. Just knowing that a child is just going to be happy that day instead of crying because they didn't get anything.
Yeah.
It really touches you deep in your soul.
And so this year, interestingly enough, people would look around and go, oh my gosh, how are they able to do that this year, especially with COVID and now Ida? How are they able to do it? We got more than we've had in years past, right?
We probably have right about a 40% increase from the previous year. And it's
40%.
not only inside, but people said, look, we knew we were devastated. And that's what makes us unique about our community. And I've talked about it during the storm, our community pulling together. And this is just another event our community has proven to pull together. And not only our community, outside our community, people wanted to help
And
because they knew the
support.
devastation.
Well, and let's bring up that flyer because you have now joined forces with the bike giveaway, and now all of this is going to take place at the same time. And so it's the Toys for Tots and the bike giveaway. It's going to be a drive-through, and it's the 10th annual Mary Kappa Alpha Psi Holiday Festival that they're doing. And so it is going to take place on Saturday, December the 18th, from 12 to 4. And so one bike per vehicle, but they're also being able to pass out those toys for those families at Toys for Tots. You talk about the community coming together. This is the best example I've ever seen because it says, we do this bike giveaway, we do this holiday festival, and we've got Toys for Tots. Let's do it together. And this is our community coming together at the Civic Center.
Yes, and it's a good thing, especially our community. Everybody was devastated this year in one way, shape, or form, and it's tough. And I feel one thing, what I've learned a long time ago, the devastation affects a child. And when you look at
Really
this
does.
storm, some of them are displaced, some of them lost what they know, my bike, my toys, whatever during the storm, took whatever the case may be, that carries with a child. And so I think we look at our mission to plug a good memory during all of this chaos.
Wow.
And I think it's important for our future. The children is going to remember this. You know, one day one of them might be standing where we're at
Right.
because they remembered. And that's what this is about. It's about growing this and putting that in a child's heart that he may remember this, and one day he's going to be sitting where we are,
Right.
and paying it forward.
And so it's so very interesting and very unique perspective that children don't have nearly as many things as we do as adults. But when those things get lost, it sometimes has a much, much bigger impact.
It's absolutely correct.
So for y'all to be able to make that difference, my excitement on Christmas morning is going to be thinking about and praying for what y'all have done for the kids in Terrebonne Parish and for the kids in our area. And so that's a really big deal. I can't thank y'all enough for what you do.
And I would like to close. Look, Tracy's been my assistant with this for a long, and look, this year, and I have to commend her. She's made this I'm very proud of her.
Wow.
On what she's done. I'm very proud of her.
Yeah, well, Sheriff, we appreciate what you do. Tracy, we appreciate what
Thank
you do.
you.
Thank y'all so much for joining us today. And we appreciate that, Tracy and Sheriff Tim Saunier, for all that they're doing